Hey, Noel Chemist, Miss Rose here. We're going to talk about quarter two project. If you haven't finished quarter one, don't panic. There's still time. But let's start with quarter two. We're going to do a new project this quarter. It's entitled Particle Behavior. It comes with 6 different experiments that we do, and then 1 experiment that we do as a final product. So let's get right into it, okay? For starters, we're going to jump into the Summit platform and take a look at this project. It's called Particle Behavior NLA. When you click on it, you're going to see that here are these 6 different experiments. Food dye investigation, sugar cube experiment, egg in a bottle, model of a balloon investigation, model of syringe investigation and Boyle's Law, hot air and cupcake design challenge, and then finally an in-class performance task. I have videos of each of these experiments. They're very small. And then after the video, you're going to be required to do 2 things. One is to draw a particle diagram of what happened during the experiment. And 2 is to write an evidence-based explanation, which is about a paragraph, about what happened. So let's dive in. The name of the project is Particle Behavior. It has 2 focus areas with it. One of them is called Particle Behavior and the 3 Phases of Matter, and the other one is called Gases in KMT1. These 2 focus areas need to be complete before the 29th of January. Okay. So now let's jump into what you're going to find when you click on Model of Food Investigation, Food Dye Investigation. You're going to come up on this very first checkpoint, which is Food Dye Investigation. Now, every week we're going to meet in a live class, and those are going to be Fridays at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to meet in Mr. Soto's Zoom room. Okay? I provided a link here. His Zoom room can also be found on the Noel website when you click on Mr. Soto's picture. You can email him if you're ever trying to look for him at matt.soto@noelacademy.org, or you can text him or call him. As always, you can text or call me. Please feel free to reach out. We'll see you every single Friday at 11 o'clock in Mr. Soto's room, and we'll be working out these checkpoints. Okay, so the very first week is this week, okay? The cognitive skills we're going to be working on for this particular project are the same for every single checkpoint and for the entire project, and they're called modeling and constructing an evidence-based explanation. Here's the vocabulary that we're going to be using this first week. If you want to know more about it, you can click on this English glossary, which has also been translated into Spanish, okay? This will give you the words that we're using. Let's see if we can get that to pull up. These will give you the words in English, a definition, and a picture. I also have that in Spanish for you, okay? In the meantime, let's scroll down. What your job is going to be is to watch this video that you're watching right now and answer these questions. What's the name of the project? Particle Behavior. What are the cognitive skills? Zip right back up here. Modeling, constructing an evidence-based explanation. What is the final product? It's an on-demand task that's going to be 2 of those things: creating a particle diagram and writing an evidence-based explanation. The focus areas are 2. One is called gases in KMT, and the other one is the 3 phases of matter. Be sure to go back into the project and you'll see them. When are live classes? Fridays at 11. Where? Mr. Soto's room. And what do you do if you need help? You zip up here and you contact either Mr. Matt or myself. Very simple. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about temperature and particle motion and the difference between solids, liquids, and gases. And we know there's a difference, right? Let's take water, for example. Water's a liquid, but if we reach a certain temperature, 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, water freezes and becomes ice, which is a solid. But if we take water and we heat it up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius, we turn it into a gas or water vapor. This is the stuff you see over the shower, the vapor, the gas, and it condenses back into the liquid when it hits the cold mirror in the bathroom, okay? Once you complete this reading, you have 4 questions to answer. And then you get to the meat of this experiment, which is watching this video and then completing this chart, okay? Now, if I show you that you click on it here, it's going to take you to this food dye experiment where you're putting food dye into different temperature water, okay?
Writing's not that.
And you're going to take a look at that yourself. We're going to watch it again in class too. And then here's what you do for the checkpoint. You reflect on that experiment, and you're going to have to do 2 things. Write an evidence-based explanation, which starts off, in this experiment, and you list the methods. This is what we observed, and this is the reason why it happened. And then here, you draw the diagram, okay? Now, if you're unsure how to draw the diagram or even what to write, fear not. Here is an example of what the diagram should look like, okay? And it's all right here in your checkpoint, okay? This student so generously gave themselves an A+. And here's what the evidence-based explanation for this particular experiment should look like. Now remember, an evidence-based explanation is about a paragraph long, and it contains 3 parts. The first that says, in this experiment, and it lists the experimental method. Then it goes on to say, we observed, which is empiric evidence. It's evidence that you actually observed. It's what you saw. It's what you smelled. It's what you heard, okay? It's what you felt if heat came off. And then you go on to tie this into scientific principles and theories as to why this happened. And this first experiment, why what happens, is because of the kinetic theory, okay? So now let's return to this, okay? Now, I also included here a checklist for you. These are the 10 things that you have to have in your particle diagram. And here they are. And I also tell you that you have to have at least 70% of them to pass this class. And that's having 7 out of the 10. And that'll give you a 4.5 on the cognitive skill of modeling. If you have 8, you'll get a 5. If you have 9, you'll get a 5.5. If you have 10, you'll get a 6.5, which is 100, okay? Let's return now to this checkpoint. Once you have written your evidence-based explanation, and once you have drawn your diagram and uploaded a picture of it there, you submit this checkpoint, and that's it. And we do this 5 more times with different experiments. Next, we do an experiment with a sugar cube. Other times we use a hard-boiled egg in a bottle. Sometimes we use balloons and hot water. All of these will have videos. All of these will be understandable to you. And you're going to be able to explain, using the principles of solid, liquid, gas, why this happened. Okay. At the end, we're really going to be focusing on gases and understanding the difference between temperature and pressure and gas, and how that relates to weather. Okay, because we were already really talked about how temperature causes things to change its state of matter, from a liquid to a solid, from water to ice. Okay. Guys, this is pretty much all you need to know. It's a very fun quarter. It's a very fun project, and it's not a heavy lift. So I look forward to seeing all of you in class on Friday.